following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, it does not matter who the host is. Today's Friday, September the 10th of 2021, day 253 of the year, and only 112 days left to go. So hopefully everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as things are going on. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, just in case you did not know. So that's where we're coming from. We are streaming across the multiverse of Safety FM. And of course, we're hanging out with our friends and our colleagues and, and the MFers over there at Radio Big. Take a listen. Radio Big. I thought about that for a second. I said MFers and I meant FMers. I guess when you mix those things two up, it could mean something entirely different right away. So did not really mean to call anybody MFers. It was FMers because, FM radio station. Boy, did I screw that thing up right away. Wow, and we're only 3 minutes in. That took no time whatsoever. But that's the kind of morning that's going on around here. When you wake up at 4:20, no pun intended there. But when you do wake up at 4:20, a lot of stuff goes on first thing in the morning. So let's talk about everything that's going on inside of the world of the news today. Today is Freeform Friday, just in case you did not know. So what does that mean for you? Freeform Friday is what we do every Friday, where we talk about whatever the hell you pop into the box. Normally how it works, if the box is working. So that becomes the other fun part of the whole equation as well. The other side of the equation is that if the box is not working, and even if it is working, you can always go and text at 866-930-SFM1. That's 866-930-SFM1, and we can, do a little chatty action over there and, do the fun stuff that we would tend to do from time to time. A lot of stuff going on through the overnight, as you already are aware. If you've been watching the news, some big changes happening in the overnight of what the president had to say, of things that were going on and planned. So I don't want to get too far into that stuff before we get into it, because you know how it goes. I don't want to steal the thunder from the people from Feature Story, because that's no fun if I do that. Then they're going to be pissed off that I stole their stories before, we were even talking about anything. So let's think about that as we are moving forward this morning. So, like I said, text in, do whatever you want. Let's hang out, do some stuff here for the next hour or so, depending if you go to the Radio Big side of the house. If you do go to the Radio Big side of the house later on today, I got something special for you on this Friday. We'll talk about that as we're going through along and all that kind of fun stuff. So, as we are going to start talking, let's talk about what is trending for this weekend. If you're looking to find out what exactly is on your video on demand services, because that's going to be important. So starting off from the very top, new to Amazon Prime is The Voyagers. Yes, The Voyagers is new. New to Disney Plus is Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Now, I did totally screw up last week. And I did not mention the new thing that was going on with what was going on with Billie Eilish last week. Billie Eilish released a new Disney Plus exclusive of her love song to LA. So if you didn't have the chance, there you go. So what is this? Here's a text hypothesis. Less people in the USA use WhatsApp than in Europe. Okay. Good. Here's a text hypothesis. Less people in the USA use WhatsApp than in Europe. Okay, cool. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing the news. Let's continue. New to HBO Max is Malignant. So that's a new horror movie that's coming out today. New to Hulu is Killing of Two Lovers. The next one after that is Transporters 3, if you have the Hulu standpoint right there. The other portion, just in case, Fire Drake is coming out to Netflix. The Fire Drake, the Silver Dragon, just in case. Then you have Kate and also Prey. So all good stuff that is coming up. So here you go. I don't know if you have heard or have not heard what is going on inside of the U.S. at the moment. So if you are not aware, take a listen now on what is going on with Feature Story News, because you might be intrigued on what's going on. So take a listen.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
For Feature Story News in Tokyo, I'm Phoebe Amoroso. The European Union has reinstated a travel ban for Japan after a recent surge in coronavirus cases. The EU restrictions mean that visitors from Japan will not be able to visit EU member countries for non-essential purposes such as tourism. However, the ban is not binding, and each country can decide its own border control policy. Germany has already said it will restrict travellers from Japan, designating the country a high-risk area for COVID-19 infection. Nationwide daily cases in Japan topped 25,000 in August, but are now on a downward trend. Officials are considering relaxing Japan's strict border control regulations. The proposals would shorten the period of self-isolation upon arrival for vaccinated people from 14 to 10 days. This would only apply to Japanese citizens or those who already hold a Japanese visa. US President Joe Biden has announced sweeping new vaccine requirements intended to boost the number of American workers inoculated against COVID-19. The new plan would mandate vaccinations, or in some cases testing, for around 100 million Americans, about two-thirds of the country's workforce.
I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated.
The vast majority of federal employees and government contractors will also soon be required to be vaccinated or face consequences. The move comes with the US averaging over 1,500 deaths daily, as the spread of the Delta variant has derailed progress made earlier this summer.
We still have nearly 80 million Americans who have failed to get the shot. And to make matters worse, there are elected officials actively working to undermine the fight against COVID-19.
US stocks closed in the red again Thursday as COVID-19 concerns continue to rattle investor sentiment. And the release of better-than-expected jobs figures did little to improve the mood on Wall Street. William Denslow reports from New York.
Several major US airlines announced Thursday that they're lowering their economic outlooks due to a recent rise in COVID-19 cases. Both United and American Airlines did close the day up sharply, but traders have grown increasingly concerned that the Delta variant will impact the nation's economic recovery. The Dow closed down 0.4% on Thursday, marking its fourth straight day of losses. The S&P was down 0.5% and the Nasdaq down 0.25%. These losses come despite the release of better-than-expected weekly jobless claims numbers, which ticked down to a pandemic-era low. And Moderna closed up nearly 8% on news it's developing a booster vaccine shot that offers protection from both the flu and COVID-19. William Denslow, New York.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, ending the week with another look at Afghanistan. The country's new government is made up of hardline, old-time members of the Taliban, not the inclusive, more reformist array they initially promised when they swept to power in Kabul 3 weeks ago. Already, a ban on protests is being implemented. The Ministry of Vice and Virtue is once again patrolling the streets, and there have been incidents of extraordinary courage by those challenging the new rules of the road. Reporter Andrew North in Kabul says the way forward could be extremely complex.
There's a tipping point about how far are they prepared to go in using force. And obviously we have already seen some pretty brutal scenes. Journalists have been beaten. We've seen women being attacked. I think what you're seeing, though, is the Taliban struggling to deal with the new Afghanistan. What we've seen is a very hard line government that's been appointed that essentially is dominated by the old guard figures who were in power when the Taliban was last in charge of Afghanistan in the late 1990s. But they're dealing with an Afghanistan that has completely changed.
He points out that more than half Afghanistan's population was born since the attacks of September the 11th, 20 years ago, that led to the US invasion of the country, and that the Taliban old guard may not entirely understand the aspirations of the population they're now ruling. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
Here are the headlines again. The European Union reinstates a travel ban for Japan after a recent surge in coronavirus cases fueled by the Delta variant. US President Joe Biden announces sweeping new vaccine requirements intended to boost the number of American workers inoculated against COVID-19. And US stocks closed in the red again Thursday as COVID concerns continue to rattle investor sentiment. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. Follow us.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't? Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Listen to our host
Of the Rated R Safety Show.
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Yeah. Why am I self-imploding? I never understand that, but hey, whatever. Some of the programmers tell me that kind of stuff. So I guess I should probably answer this. Why is subscriber chat only on? Well, if you're on the Twitch side of the house, things got a little crazy, you know, a little crazy. So I want to make sure that that you're taking a pause for the cause if you're hanging out. Don't worry, at some point I'll turn it back to, you know, everybody and their brother, but at the moment, you know, there was some comments, you know, you can say whatever you want, but, you know, it got a little crazy last week, and I mean that in the most positive light possible, but I'm sure that, you know, things will change as we move forward, and plus there was some stuff going down, meaning in regards of how the chat was working earlier in the week, so that was kind of part of the thing, and we were just trying to figure out what was going on, so apologize about that. So that's what's going on. Anyways, let's continue talking. So what do you think about this? You saw it, you heard it, it was part of the gig right away as we were talking. So did you hear? Did you hear about, you know, the change of what Joe Biden wants to do? I'm just asking the question. Just asking what you think. So are you good with it? Are you not good with it? What's your thought process? A lot of conversations are going to come up out of this. I mean, let's just be realistic. So right now, if you have over 100 employees, you're being requested that they're all vaccinated, or if they're not vaccinated, that they're tested weekly. Now, what are your thoughts? Now, I know that this can get all oogly boogly as we're talking, but I want to make sure that we're clear here on what's being said. I want to make sure that we're clear here on what is what's the ask. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking when this comes up? Now, if you do have some comentario, you can actually text in at 866-930-SFM1. That's 866-930-SFM1 on that one. So let's take a look at what's coming in. Okay, I am okay with it as long as it is HR managing this this proposed program. This has now become an HR issue, not a safety issue, although safety might assist. Now, I see what you're saying, for sure. But keep in mind, too, that there's still some organizations that are out there that have where safety reports into HR. Now, I'm not saying that's the best case scenario, but it is stuff that still does happen. Over here on the other side, let's take a look. This is showing that I am okay with the pattern. Really? I'm okay with the pattern, but things are always subject to change. Would you like to expand? I am okay with the pattern, but things are always subject to change. I'm sure that means something, but I'm not 100% sure what exactly that means. Anyways, let's get into some stuff. Let's continue talking. Some things happened yesterday in the market, so we're going to start off with that with some of our news stories. So let's get Johnny Smalls inside of here and let him talk about what happened with the Market Beat Minute. So take a listen real quick.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, September 10th, 2021. Equity markets tried to rebound Thursday but failed to hold much of the gains. The move was driven by a better-than-expected weekly jobless claims figure that helped brighten the market's outlook. The news, as good as it is, was soon discounted, however, in favor of caution. With inflation on the rise, Friday's PPI data is the next major hurdle for the market to cross. Even if the PPI subsides on a month-to-month basis, as it is expected to do, produced level price increases are still advancing and putting upward pressure on consumer prices. Next week, the market will have to face the latest read on the CPI data, and that is where the real risk lays. Consumer-level inflation is what the FOMC is most concerned with, so a hot or cold number could really get the market moving. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. You see, if we were still just doing radio, I would play Hot and Cold by Katy Perry right now because, you know, that's how the market's been reacting. So markets dipped on Thursday as the Dow tumbled about 151 points. The NASDAQ fell 38 points. and the S&P closed 20 points lower. It was a fourth consecutive losing day for the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500. Fund managers continue to be wary of looming monetary policy changes as well as the virus mitigation strategies being introduced by the federal government. Macy's added 1.9% after a rating firm upgraded their stock to outperform from market perform. So there you go. Some things to think about for sure. I don't know. It's an interesting time all around here. And I'm going to tell you, as we're taking a look and some of the stuff that we continue to see, it's going to be interesting. I don't know. Some people are out there, saying, hey, this is now with everything going on and the change to the COVID mitigation policy that we are losing our freedoms. Now, that's an opinion that's out there. We also have people that are loving the idea of doing this. That's another opinion that's out there. And here's the thing. When we sit here and talk on this show, we talk about both sides of the equation. I mean, because here's the thing. I'm not going to sit back and say, hey, it sucks. Hey, it's great. I mean, I'm going to say, what do you think? And let's play it down the middle. Because here's the thing. Some people are going to love the idea. Some people are going to hate the idea. But what do you think that's in the best interest? What do you think that's going to be best for what's going on inside of your situation? Because now, also the other side that came about right away with this news story was the offering of home testing. You heard about this yesterday, right? About now home tests will be readily available. They did name Walmart by name. They did name Amazon by name, and they're hoping that they will actually start selling this at a discounted price. Now, here's the thing. Here's where it becomes the oogle boogle as we'll start talking. If, and this is a big if, you start doing this and you start using it and you're doing the home testing, can you bring that home test as a result of the weekly parameter that some organizations will be requiring if you're not vaccinated? I mean, think about that for just a brief moment. I mean, I don't think I'm getting out of my lane here, but it's something to talk about and it's definitely something to consider. What do you think? I mean, there's a lot of information there. That's for sure. So I don't know. I have to tell you, when it's all said and done, how's that going to work? Something to think about for sure. Because right now, most organizations that I know of and interact with, they are requiring something from a medical doctor. I mean, duh. That's something to think about for sure. But how is that going to work? What are going to be the requirements? And let's just be realistic. Let's call a spade, and let's not lie. There are going to be some people that will be okay if somebody else takes the test for them. I'm not saying they're positive. I'm not saying they're negative. I'm just saying in general. Because here's the thing. When you back people into a corner, regardless on how you do it, they are going to do what they need to do to survive. It's just one of those things. Think about it. I mean, I want you to really kind of take the whole scope here. This new microphone in this section here is not going to work. As you can tell, I've already hit it like 4 times. But think about this for a moment. People are going to do what they have to do to survive. There is no ands, if, and buts about it. It's just the way that it works. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. So when you sit here and you think about this for a moment, what do you think is going to happen? There's just a lot there. There just really is. So let me continue on, because if not, I know we can be here for the rest of the day. Anyways, a portion of the Omaha Henry Doorly Zoo was evacuated after a 5,000-pound rhinoceros escaped its enclosure earlier this week. The zookeeper spotted the Indian rhino named Jontu outside of his enclosure, grazing on some grass in an area near his home. Dan Cassidy, the zoo vice president of animal management, said that the staff quickly pulled a truck to barricade the area to keep the rhino from wandering further. Apples and leafy greens were used to lure him back to his barn. Cassidy says that Jontu likely used his nose to push open the latch, and then the door just wasn't locked properly. So there you go. Some things to think about for sure. So I'm just asking you, if somebody pulled a truck in front of a 5,000-pound rhino, you really think that truck was going to stop him? Hey, I'm just asking the question.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's continue talking real quick. A plane full of both American and Afghans landed safely in Qatar yesterday. The U.S. government facilitated the flight that took off at the Hamid Karzai International Airport as part of the Operation Allies Welcome Home, which has brought more than 6,000 American citizens and lawfully permanent residents back to the U.S. from Afghanistan. The Biden administration commended the Taliban and their cooperation in facilitating the departure. So there you go. The death toll in Louisiana from Hurricane Ida sits at 26 after 11 additional deaths from New Orleans were reported on Wednesday. Officials stated that the most of the deaths were elderly people who perished from the extreme heat and lack of electricity. As of yesterday, the city is returning to normal with almost fully restored power. Ida hit hard on August the 29th. Something about that infrastructure that I feel like we need to talk about some more, but I guess we can leave that for another day. Anyways, let's continue talking. A Florida man has got so fed up with the potholes near his business that he has decided to take a creative action. Brian Raymond planted banana trees in one of the driving hazards along Honda Drive in South Fort Myers as of a way to alert motorists to drive around it. County officials said because of the street is private, it is up to the business owners to maintain it. So I guess the problem is solved to an extent. I guess that's just one way of people here to do stuff. Just something to think about. So let's see. Last week we had some motion in the ocean and some people like this. So maybe it's time to do it once again. Maybe it's time to jump over here and we'll take a look at our little folder, because I guess I should have had this properly vetted and set up. But some people liked this whole thing that we did last week, if I can ever find it now, where we took a moment to make a moment. Oh no, that's somebody else says that. But we took a moment and we talked about health. So I have reached out so kindly to see if we could get another moment this week to discuss health and wellness. So let's go ahead and do one of those thingies, because I think that's going to be important, because it seemed like so many people liked it. So take a listen. Well, let me get it all potted up and take a listen.
This Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com, and today we're talking about walking. It is quite amazing how much walking benefits our long-term health. It increases blood flow to the brain and improves your mood, memory, and overall thinking skills, boosting creativity by up to 60%. Walking 6,000 steps a day will improve your health, and 10,000 steps will help you lose weight. If you question how realistic it would be for you to start walking more often, consider the following. More than 1/3 of all car trips are less than 2 miles in length, which is less than 40 minutes of walking. Yet, Americans use walking as a mode of transportation in less than 6% of their trips. Today, I invite you to find more ways to incorporate walking into your life. This was your Wellness Minute, and we always encourage you to find real ways to reset your wellness. For more information, please visit us at www.alessamorgan.com.
What is up with that? Calling out the Americans for taking trips in less than 2 miles. Hey, I'm just throwing that out there because that did come up. Hey, your wording, not mine, my friend. So there you go. Wellness Minute. You know, we're trying to incorporate a little bit of everything, especially on the Friday standpoint. So what do you think? You like it? I don't know. I mean, you have to tell me what you think about it, because that's definitely will determine if we continue to do them or not. And then if we continue to do them, we're going to have to do it like Johnny Small style, where we have some kind of pick going on the screen, because that's always important for us to have a visual aid of what is going on. Think about that in a fashion. Anyways, let's continue talking real quick, because this is always important. The baby at the center of the Roe v. Wade has come forward after years of silence. Have you heard about this? Sherry Lynn Thornton 51 revealed herself as the youngest child born to Norma McCorvey, who filed the lawsuit under the pseudonym Jane Roe that led to the Supreme Court in 1973's ruling to legalize abortion. McCovey was 22, unmarried, unemployed, pregnant with Thornton. Then she thought to have an abortion in Texas, where the procedure at the time was illegal except to save women's life. She filed the suit back in 1969, though by the time that she won, she had already given birth and placed her daughter up for adoption. Thornton grew up knowing that she was adopted, but had no idea her connection to the major case until she was tracked down by the National Enquirer. Thank you to the National Enquirer. After finding out the bombshell information, Thornton said that she was almost met her birth mother back in 1994, but chose not to after McCarvey told her on a phone call that she should thank her for not aborting her. The two never ended up meeting, and McCarvey died back in 2017 at the age of 69. Now Thornton, who is pro-life, says that she is telling her story to relieve herself of decades of secrecy. So what do you think about that? Kind of an interesting one, kind of an interesting Iggy, if you think about it, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. I'm just throwing out information. You know, that's what we do around here. We spew out the information and give it to you in the format that we think that we should and go from there. Anyway, solar energies could supply up to 40% of the nation's electricity by 2035, but would require a massive change in billions of dollars, federal dollars. So just think about that. A report from the Energy Department Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy says that the U.S. would need to quadruple its annual solar capacity and continue to increase it year after year in order to address the threat posed by climate change. Officials said that the report is not considered an administrative goal, but rather a design guide to inspire the next decade of solar innovation. I have to tell you, we do broadcast, and this is not a lie. This is not putting ourselves over, but we are fully solar. Right here on how we come to you. Fully solar across the board is how this studio gets to you, how we source all of the material, all the power that we use, like 100%. And we've been that since day one. That's not a joke. That's something that we push forward to. And it's kind of an interesting thing on how you do it when it's all said and done. But I always tell people that it's important to have the battery backups as well, because you don't want to go onto the grid. I'm just throwing that out there. So there you go, some information to share. So what do you think the next solar generation will be? What I like is those flower things that can come out and look like little satellites. They're kind of cool on how they work. Maybe one day we can go into a further discussion about that. I love how my watch is picking up everything that I'm saying right now. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about some other things. Animals attacks on humans have been on an uptick over the last decade. These attacks total about $1 billion a year in health expenses. Yeah, I said 1 billion with a B. Oterophilia has analyzed the states experienced the most and least fatal animal attacks per year. The information comes from the CDC data. Deadly interspecies encounters from 1999 to 2019. Are you ready for this? The top 3 states with animal attacks scales during those decades. Here we go. At number 3, Florida with 247. At number 2, California with 299 deaths. And then the total topping it out at number 1, Texas with 520. So there you go. Just some information. The deaths were due to people getting bitten or struck by animals, with excerpts attributed to a vast majority of dog attacks and car collisions with deers, as well as livestock accidents. So let's think about that. As you break it down, when we start talking about death for 2 decades, 247 for 20 years. I mean, if you think about it, it doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, if you do the average of numbers, but it's still a lot overall. But I mean, I'm just something to talk about, I guess, for sure, as we are hanging out on this lovely morning.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Here we go. A hospital in Spain is apologizing and citing human error after 2 baby girls were switched at birth almost 2 decades ago. The mistake came to light after the girls, now 19, took a DNA test that showed her parents who raised her were not her own. She is now suing the doctors who claimed there was no corruption at their clinic for $4.8 million. Her counterpart in the swap has reportedly been identified, no word yet, if she will also sue. The 2 women were born in 2002 at San Millán Logorno Hospital in northern Spain, born 5 hours apart. And both underweight. The girls were placed into an incubator near one another. The woman's attorney called it gross negligence. Can you imagine that? All of a sudden, you grew up with some parents the whole time. Then you come to find out that they weren't your parents after all. Boy, does that make it a big iggy. Kind of an interesting one. I mean, think about it for a second. Think about all the punishments you might have went through, all the times that you might have disliked your parents, or think about all the other times, the times that you loved your parents and everything was fantastic and all that, and then you just come to find out that it was a swapperoo the whole time. Oh, man. Isn't that one?
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, let's continue talking. Jobless claims fell again last week, hitting another pandemic-era low. Initial filing for unemployment benefits dropped to about 310,000, down from the prior week's revised total of 345,000, according to the Labor Department data. Nearly 2.8 million Americans remain on traditional state unemployment. That's definitely something to think about, as everything seems to continue to go in some weird version of a twist.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, come in real close. I got something to share with you. Not everybody has a beautiful head. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can pull off the shaved head look. Hey, I'm not digging on people. I'm just bringing it up. Some people out there are losing their hair. Now, I want to tell you about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time that they are 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers them both.
Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor consultation and medication delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't even have to leave your home. Think about that. There's other things that you have to leave your home to be able to pick up, not with Keeps. They have low-cost treatments that start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. It's discreet packaging and proven results. Now think about this for a moment. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 5 months to see results. So act fast. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/safety to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com/safety to get your first month for free. keeps.com/safety. Now just remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head like mine.
Do you see how this fire grows rapid and nobody knows how it started or where it will go? I can't stop now.
Oh, hey now, this is Go Quiet.
I will just keep turning, and here I am still.
This is some Tory Wolf going on this morning.
That you need what it is you bleed for. Longing and yearning, deeply burning for.
This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. You know, this is some indie pop stuff, some dreamy, restless kind of thing. So thank you to Tori Wolf for Go Quiet, letting us play it here on the Rated R Safety Show. Let your hands do the talking. I like it. Anyways, let's continue moving and grooving as we do on Fridays. It is 43 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Friday. Hopefully you're getting ready for the weekend. You know, this is it's been a short week work-wise, but I can kind of tell you at the same time it felt like a long week. I don't know how to explain it, but that's exactly how it came about. So here you go. Let's talk a little bit more. It is Friday, so if you are familiar with the show, the way that we do things on Friday is we kind of let you come into the box and do whatever the hell you want. That's kind of the norm, apparently, but with the exception of Twitch today. Sorry about that, Twitchers. Love you, but just hang on a second. There's a reason to the madness and all that kind of fun stuff. But let's talk about some other stuff. We do the 30-second countdown on this lovely day. And what does the 30-second countdown consist of? So what we want you to do is all that aggression before you get into the weekend. We want you to scream and shout and let it all out before you get into the weekend. You know, for you to have some smooth sailing throughout, because that's going to be slightly important. So I'm going to put a 30-second counter on the screen. I will let you know verbally as well what is going on for those who are listening on the radio. You know, we love the people on the radio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and that seems like time, so that's always an importante one as we are talking. So, like I said, 45 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue moving and grooving as we're going around here. Should I reference this, or is it really not kind of our lingo in our show? But I guess it's pregnancy week around here. Not that I'm announcing that anybody that I know is pregnant, but you might have heard this one. But Jennifer Lawrence is pregnant. The actress is reportedly expecting her first child with her husband, art dealer, whatever the hell his name is, and the pair who tied the knot back in 2019.
They have not confirmed the news, but that is what is speculating. So So the pair who tied the knot have not confirmed the news. What did they not confirm the news? That they're married, or they didn't confirm the news that she's pregnant? I don't know. But good for them. So there you go. Olivia Munn and Jennifer Lawrence pregnant all in the same, or announcements coming out all in the same week. Hey, I guess it is what it is. Anyways, let's talk about some things going on inside of the world. Do we go into the news of the weird today? Maybe we do that. Let's do that. A man fed up with no, matter of fact, I said that one. I talked about that guy. So let's talk about the other weird news. A foul-mouthed fowl. Yeah, an Australian duck named Ripper has been recorded reportedly saying, "You bloody fool." Hold on. Why am I getting repeat news stories? We talked about this yesterday. And then we definitely talked about the other thing just a few moments ago. What's going on here? Hey, you need to write a little bit better there over there, buddy. Anyways, let's talk about some other stuff for sure. Did you know cheaper and better tasting chocolate is on the way, thanks to the Canadian food science, who say that they have found the secret to making the sweet treat perfectly smooth by simply adding a key component of cocoa butter fat. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. A team from the University of Guelph says the chocolate can avoid costly tempering that produces the food smooth and glossy finish. They believe the technology will help decrease the waste and failed batches. They can also improve on the carbon footprint of chocolate, making the process they expect, and the discovery will bring the price of chocolate down and will also make the product creamier. So there you go. If you've been craving some different kind of chocolate, I think that might be on your way.
Duh.
So just some things to think about for sure. Let's jump around and do some other things about what is going on. I think that we've already got a kind of swampy today, so maybe we don't need to get more swampland style. But we could talk about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world of the news if you want to do so. So let's do this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about here are 5 charities that continue to provide much needed and significant support to 9/11 survivors. So as you are aware, tomorrow is the 20th year since the things that happened back in 2001 on 9/11. So let's talk about this. I'm going to tell you about the 5 charities. Tuesday Children serves and supports our nation, military families of the fallen, and builds resilience and common bonds in communities worldwide recovering from tragedies, and will keep to promise support all of those impacted by Tuesday, September the 11th. The Feel Good Foundation aims to assist all emergency personnel, including but not limited to firefighters, police officers, nurses, volunteers, sanitation workers, transportation workers, construction workers within the United States who have been injured or face serious injury due to action or omission in the course of their duties or within everyday lives. It was founded by John Feel, a 9/11 first responder who was injured while rescuing people and then denied coverage for his injuries. The Michael Lynch Memorial Foundation focuses on providing grants to enable children of firefighters and other victims of the September 11th attacks and other fires and disasters to afford higher education. Heart 9/11 Healing Emergency Aid Response Team aims to respond immediately to natural and man-made disasters, rebuild infrastructure in hard-hit areas, and meet immediate needs, recovering by building resiliency and for individual families and communities. And then last but not least, Families of Freedom Scholarship Fund, established to one after the attacks. This organization exists to provide education assistance for post-secondary study to financially needy dependents of those killed or permanently disabled as a result of terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, and during the rescue activities relating to those attacked. So just one more time, Tuesday Children, the Feel Good Foundation, Michael Lynch Memorial Foundation, Heart 9/11, and Families of Freedom Scholarship Fund. So there you go. Those are all that are still benefiting people that were affected by 9/11. So let's talk about things that occurred back on this day, back in 2002. Switzerland joins the nation to little pomp or circumstance, and it has since maintained its status of neutral as a country. So there you go. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on real quick today. Mike Rife turns 26. Josh Balls turns 32. Joey Votto, 38. Misty Copeland, 39. Mikey Way turns 41. Ryan Philippi turns 47. Big Daddy Kane turns 53. Guy Ritchie, 53. Colin Firth turns 61. Chris Columbus turns 63, and Joe Perry, from that band called Aerosmith, he turned 71 today. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate today, well, I got a few reasons for you. National Swap Ideas Day. I think I do that all the time. National TV Dinner Day. Wow, there's a day for that? And Sewing Machine Day. I guess there's a day for everything when it's all said and done. Anyways, let's think about some other stuff going in and out and about and all that other kind of fun stuff. Let's talk about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people from your local communities whose life has been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, you can text the word TALK to 741-741 or call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-TALK, or you can also go to their website at afsp.org. That's afsp.org for more information. Hey, you never know. You never know when you might need to know more than what you know currently, or you might be struggling and don't want anybody else to know. We need to take away the stigma from the conversation. That's for sure. Let's not ever discount that. Seriously. Anyways, it is 52 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk about some whack facts right now. All bullfrogs close their eyes when they jump. Most dinosaurs were vegetarians, but they didn't eat grass. There was none of that at the time. The secret code for unlocking nuclear missiles during the Cold War, are you ready for this? Was 00000000. There you go. Top secret stuff there. Typically, people eat about 35% more when dining with others than eating alone. I don't know if that's true. I feel like I eat more when I'm alone than when I'm eating with other people. Just saying. And I'm alone all the time, so that's a whole other story. Each hair on your hold on. I'm assuming that this says on your ears. Each hair on it says here, and I imagine it's saying ears, grows approximately 0.3 mm per day, or 1/100th of an inch. About 10% of people are left-handed, but about 20% of people are left-footed. Think about that for a moment and see what you think. Anyway, some other things. The NFL has begun, and it couldn't have come soon enough. I mean, it makes the police bloater way more interesting. I mean, just think about it. Researchers show that marijuana smokers tend to be thinner. The study has a margin of error of plus or minus Seth Rogen. A survey found that women most enjoy men with a sense of humor. Good, I'll be sure to wear my Groucho Marx nose and glasses when my wife finds my Tinder profile. I'm sure that will go over well. Anyways, a study found that men who drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day are less likely to suffer from erectile dysfunction. To capitalize, Starbucks now claims that men can go from tall to venti after just 1 cup. Fact of the day, people with blue bedroom walls get the most sleep. What about people with velvet murals of themselves sculpted on their bedroom walls? I'm just asking for a friend, just something to think about for sure.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So before I get you into the weekend, let's get Johnny Smalls in here one more time. Let's do some motivation for just a minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Michael. Winston Churchill said, "In every age there comes a time when a leader must come forward to meet the needs of the hour. Therefore, there is no potential leader who does not have the opportunity to make a positive difference in society." What an excellent quote. We can probably all think of somebody who's been an amazing example of leadership. And I'll bet we can all think of someone who didn't quite measure up. If we put this in the world of politics, the room will absolutely be divided. You know what? Both sides are right, because we're all entitled to our own opinion. But if we think about this in the business sense, I hope you thought of someone positive as well. We should all strive to be like that. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, once again for that one, because it's always important. Anyways, let's talk a little bit more. Do you need a random joke for today? Because I think I might have something for you. In retrospect, hiding all microchips in horse dewormer was a stroke of genius. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. If you need a phone starter for today, I got something for you. What is the most expensive mistakes you've ever made? What was the first thing you did when you heard about 9/11? Think about that. You can use either one today. That's for sure. And then if you need a question for the water cooler, you can always try this one. According to research, if you have this, chances are that you'll eat